Parthaya pratibodhitam bhagavata Narayana swayam Vyasena gratitam Purana munina madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Amba Tvamanusandadhami Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshinim Namostute Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Pullara Vindayata Patra Netra Yena Tvaya Bharata Taila Purna Prajvalito Gyanamaya Pradipaha Prapanna Parijataya Totra Vetraika Panaye Jnana Mudraya Krishnaya Gitamrita Duhe Namaha Sarvopanishado Gavo Dugdha Gopalanandanaha Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta Dugdham Gitamritam Mahat Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadguru Bhishma Drona Tata Jayatra Jala Gandhara Nilotpala Shalya Grahavati Kripena Vahani Karnena Velakula Ashwathama Vikarna Gora Makara Duryodhana Vartini Sotirna Kalupanda Vaira Nanadika Vartaka Keshavaha Parasharya Vachasaroja Mamalam Gitartha Gandhodkatam Nanakyanaka Kesaram Harikata Sambodhana Bodhitam Loke Sajjana Shatpadaira Haraha Pepiyamana Muda Bhuyad Bharata Pankajam Kalimala Pradvamsina Shreyase Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutastun Vanti Divyarstavaihi Vedai Sangha Padakaramopanishadair Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavastita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yogino Yasyantam Navidusura Suragana Devaya Tasmai Namaha Shri Satguru Maharaj Ki Jai. Hari Om, everyone. Good to see you again. Sorry to drive you crazy with the days, back and forth. I think next week again it will be on Tuesday. Monday is kind of traveling days always. So we are here. And we continue with the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 11. In the last class, we studied verse number 48. We are starting to get close to the end of the chapter. And you can see that the author, Vyasa, is starting to warm us up towards, or build up the tension towards the next chapter, which is Bhakti Yoga, the Yoga of Devotion. And it is very beautiful. And we have seen in the last verse, in verse number 48, Krishna was saying, neither by study of the Vedas and sacrifices, nor by gifts, nor by rituals, nor by severe austerities can I be seen in this form in the world of men by any other than thyself, O great hero of the cause. Okay, so Krishna is telling Arjuna, you have seen something very, very special. Remember, Arjuna is terrified. He's asking Krishna, please, it's too much. I want to see something. I want to see your former form, your previous form that you showed me. And now in verse number 49, Krishna says, Mate vyata macha vimuddha bhavu drishtva rupam ghoramidrin mamedam Vyapeta bhiprittamana punastvam tadeva me rupamidam prapashya mate vyatha. He says you should not have fear. Ma in Sanskrit, there is ma which is mata, mata which means mother. But also ma is the imperative form of na. Na means no. In Sanskrit, ma literally means no. But when you use it in the imperative, we use it ma. An example that probably all of you know is asato ma sadgamaya, right? So we say asato. Asato means untruth. Sat means truth. Asat means untruth. So asato ma, let there be not. Okay, there should not be. This is ma. There should not be asat. Asato ma sadgamaya. Let's go to sat. Tamaso ma. There should not be tamas. Tamasa means darkness. Should not be darkness. Jyotirgamaya. Take us to light. So here also he is using this ma in the imperative. Ma te vyata. You should not have fear. Arjuna, you feel all this fear, but it's not necessary. Macha vimuda bhava. Also, you should not be bewildered. Okay, vimuda bhava. Vimuda means like surprised or like, yeah, bewildered. You should not be bewildered. You should not be confused. Drishtva rupam ghoram. Having seen this form, drishtva means having seen, rupam means form, ghoram. Ghora means terrible. Okay, having seen this terrible form, idrin mama idam, like this terrible form of mine. Having seen a form so terrible like my form, you should still not be bewildered, and you should not also have fear. Vyapeta bhihi, with all your fears dispelled. Okay, it is in the plural. Vyapeta bhihi, by all. Actually, it is with your fears all gone. Pritamanaha, with your mind. Prita means happy, glad. With your mind at peace. With your mind happy. With a mind which is peaceful. Punaha tvam, again, you, tadeva me rupamidam prapashya, you are going to see again that other form of mine. Tadeva me rupamidam prapashya, you are going to see, ida means this, rupa means form, me means of me, my form. Tadeva, you are going to see it again. I'm going to show you. I'm going to withdraw my terrible form, and I'm going to show you my other form. Which form? Well, Arjuna was quite specific. He asked to see the form of Vishnu. Okay? But what Krishna is going to show him, we are going to see. Before that, I will just read what Swami Shivananda says. Former form is the form with the four hands with conch, discus, club, or mice and lotus. This is the form of Lord Vishnu. That's what Swami Shivananda says. The Lord saw Arjuna in a state of terror. Therefore, he withdrew the cosmic form and assumed his usual gentle form. He consoled Arjuna and spoke sweet, loving words. Okay, Swami Shivananda is not very specific here, which form exactly he was seeing, but he says that the former form means the form of Lord Vishnu. Now again, we go to Sanjaya. Who is Sanjaya? We all remember. Sanjaya is the narrator of the story. He is the one who is telling the story to the blind king Dhritarashtra on the 10th day of the war when he came to see him. He is reporting what is going on in the battle, and the whole Bhagavad Gita is part of this report. Sanjaya uvacha ityarjunam vasudevastatoktva swakam rupam darshayamasa bhuyaha ashvasayamasa cha bhitamena Bhutva Puna Samya Vapur Mahatma. Sanjaya Uvacha, Sanjaya said, to whom? To Dhritarashtra, okay, to the blind king. He was saying, Iti, thus, in this way, Arjuna Vasudevaha Tatha Uktva. So Vasudeva is Lord Krishna. Why is he called Vasudeva? Primarily because he is the son of Vasudeva. In Sanskrit, there are, well, how to say it? I would say it this way. Vasudeva with short va. It's not Vasudeva, but Vasudeva. With short va, I don't know if you're able even to hear it, but it is different. Vasudeva is the name of the father of Krishna. Vasudeva and Devaki. Devaki was the sister of Kamsa and she married Vasudeva. And they got 8 children that Kamsa killed, except the last one, which is Krishna. Right? There is the story of the birth of Krishna. So Vasudeva is the name of the father of Krishna. In Sanskrit, the son of Vasudeva is Vasudeva. It's almost sound the same, but it is with a long va. Vasudeva. Vasudeva literally means pertaining to Vasudeva. That which he belongs to Vasudeva is Vasudeva. In the same way, Krishna is calling Arjuna Partha. Partha is the son of Pritha. That's one of the name of Kunti. His mother was Pritha. And Partha means the son of Pritha. Like this, Vasudeva is the son of Vasudeva. Okay, when we chant in the opening, we chant Vasudeva Sutam Devam. It is short Vasudeva because it is Vasudeva Sutam. Sutam means son, the son of Vasudeva, like this. So when I came to my teacher, Swami Chaitanyananda, I had great trouble with these long and short vowels because our ears are not trained to hear even the difference between Vasudeva and Vasudeva. Can you tell the difference? It is very difficult. If an Indian person hears, immediately they understand what you say. Our ear, our brain actually is able to catch minute differences if it is trained. So, when we are not aware, we are able to hear so many things and we miss also so many things if we are not trained for them. So I had so many troubles. I remember the first verse that I memorized in the Gita, Swami Chaitanyananda, my teacher, was teaching me. And, this week we were celebrating the Guru Purnima. So I reminded a lot of him. So the first verse was Klaibya Masmagama Partha Naitattvayupapadyate Kshudram Hridaya Darbalyam Tyaktotishta Parantapa. It is in chapter 2, verse 4 or 5, I don't remember. And he was killing me. He was killing me. It doesn't matter how much I was trying to pronounce it correctly. It won't go. It won't go. The short will become long and the long. And he will get upset and I will say, but Swamiji, I don't hear the difference. He said, what? You cannot Klaibyam. It's not Klaibyam. And I said, Swamiji, I don't hear the difference. And he used to get so upset. Anyway, that was long ago, 23 years ago. But slowly, I have cultivated this ability to hear the difference and a little bit also to pronounce the difference. So, for example, many people, they say Swami Shivananda, right? We hear it a lot, Swami Shivananda. But it is not Shivananda because it is Shiva and Ananda. So the A should be long. It is not Shivananda, it is Shivananda. Shivananda. If you want, you can a little bit exaggerate, Shivananda. it's not necessary to exaggerate, but it is not Shivananda, Swami Shivananda. Okay, or what else? Swami Chaitanyananda. It is always, because it ends with A and it starts with A, it becomes a long one, and we have to pronounce it correctly. Anyway, I'm telling you all this is not that important. Vasudeva is the name of Lord Krishna. Vasudeva Arjunam. Arjuna means to Arjuna. So Vasudeva to Arjuna tata uktva. Having said that, what? He have said about Arjuna, I'm going to show you my previous form. Don't be afraid. Everything will be just fine. Having said that, Swakam Rupam Darshayamasa Bhuyaha. Bhuya means again, once again, Swakam Rupam, his own form. Swakam Rupam, his own form. Darshayam Asa, he showed again his own form. What form did he show the Arjuna? What form? He says, Ashvasayamasa cha dhitam enam. Ashvasayamasa, console, to console somebody, to comfort somebody. Cha bhitam, bhita means fear. So bhita means terrified. Arjuna was terrified. So Krishna consoled him. Enam bhutva, having consoled Arjuna and removed his fear. Punaha saumya vapuhu. Punaha means again saumya vapuhu. What is saumya? Saumya means dear. It means also friendly or sweet, something like this. Okay, and vapuhu means forms. Saumya vapuhu means his gentle form, his sweet form. Okay, for example, Uttar Kashi in the scripture is called Swami Kashi. Where I live is called Swami Kashi. Saumya because it is so lovely. Something like this, lovely, dear, beautiful, gentle. So Saumya vapuhu punaha. Once again, he showed him this Saumya form. What is the Saumya form? We are going to see it is not the form of Lord Vishnu. The Saumya form, we are going to see soon, is the human form of Lord Krishna. What is the human form of Lord Krishna? The way Arjuna used to see Lord Krishna before that. Just a normal person. You see, there is a point in the Mahabharata that Lord Krishna is an avatar, and the characters in the Mahabharata, they kind of shift between knowing this and not knowing this, remembering this and forgetting this. His mother, for example, she saw him as her own child, but when he opened his mouth and she sees the whole universe inside his mouth, she's realizing she also saw this cosmic form inside the mouth of Krishna when he was a baby. And then she forgets again. And also Bhishma, he knew who Krishna was, but they seem to forget every time. And Arjuna didn't understand. He saw Krishna as his friend, as his cousin. And he saw him in a normal human form. So here, it seems that in this verse, actually, what happens is that first Krishna took the form of Lord Vishnu, and then he took the form of a normal human being. Okay, that's the way to explain this verse. Otherwise, there's some misunderstanding here. I will read the running translation. Having thus spoken to Arjuna, Krishna again showed his own form. His own form may be this form of Vishnu with the discus and the club and all this. And then the great soul Krishna, assuming his gentle form, you see, now he is assuming his gentle form. This is another development. Now he is assuming his human form, consoled him who was terrified. Okay? Now, you see, Swami Shivananda says his form as the son of Vasudeva, like a normal person. You see, before it was Vishnu, now it is a normal person. So there are in between something happened which is not expressly said here in the text. Now Arjuna says, Arjuna uvacha drishtveda manusham rupam tavasaumyam janardana idanim asmi samvrita sacheta prakritim gataha. First of all, you may notice that the meter here changes back to the normal meter of the Bhagavad Gita. If you remember, we discussed a little bit about the fact that most verses in the Bhagavad Gita, they are in the Gayatri meter, which is like 8 and 8 in each line. There's like 8, 8, 8, 8 syllables in each line. And in chapter 11, most of the chapter was there were 21. It's like, I think 11 and 9, something like this. Or there are 21 syllables in every line. So that's why we chant it in a different way. Okay? And now, after many, many verses, we go back to this form. Okay? And Arjuna says, Drishtva idam manusham rupam. Drishtva, having seen, idam, this, manusham. What is manusham? This is a crucial word here. Manusham means human. Manusham rupam, human form. Having seen your human form. Human form doesn't have 4 hands. When Arjuna asks, he says, Chatur Bhuja, I want to see your form with 4 hands. Right? He was saying, I want to see your form with 4 hands. But now he says, having seen your human form. Human form is only 2 hands. So that means Arjuna is seeing now Krishna as before, as his cousin, as his friend. Tava Saumyam Janardana. Tava means yours, Saumyam. Saumyam means, we said, it means dear or lovely or gentle. Having seen your gentle human form. So gentle form means that normal form like we see. Idanim, Idanim. What is Idanim? Idanim means now. Now. Idanim asmi samvritaha. I am back to my senses. Samvritaha, I am composed. I am back to my peace of mind. Sachetaha prakritim gataha. And also, Sachetaha, with my mind, my chitta, my mind is also prakritim. What is prakriti? Prakriti means nature. Okay, it's like the normal state of things is prakriti, the original state of things. When we talk about Sankhya philosophy, prakriti is the 3 gunas before their manifestation, right? So it is the natural state. So my mind is in its own prakriti, which means the mind goes back into peaceful state. That's the idea. Sacheta prakritim gataha. Gataha is from the root gam, to go. My mind have gone back to its normal composure, to its state of peace. Okay, having seen this, the gentle human form of Krishna, now I am composed and I am restored to my own nature. Swami Shivananda says, Arjuna says to Lord Krishna, "Oh Lord, I now behold thy human form. Now my thoughts are collected and I am serene. I can speak. My senses perform their proper functions. My fear has vanished. Thou hast treated me as a mother would treat her erring child, whom she embraces and nurses. Just as the calf rejoices when it beholds its mother, who was missing for some days, so also I rejoice now when I behold thy gentle form. I have drunk the nectar, now I am alive." Swami Shivananda is very poetic here and using some lovely analogies. Imagine a cow missing for a few days and then she comes back and the calf sees the mother and the calf is so happy. Arjuna says, I missed your gentle form. I was so terrified. I was so afraid. It's something like this. Okay. Now, Lord Krishna answers Arjuna. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Sudur Darshamidam Rupam Drishtavanasi Mama Deva Apyasya Rupasya Nityam Darshana Kanchinaha. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, the blessed Lord said, this is Krishna. Krishna now answering. He's answering Arjuna. Sudur Darsham. Darsha means sight, to see. Okay? Dur Darsha is hard to see. Something which is difficult to see is Dur Darsha. And Sudur Darsha, when we have the prefix Su, it means very much. It means good. It means also very much. Okay, in some senses, it means, for example, I told you Sukha. Sukha means, Ka means space, and Sukha means good space. So Sukha means happiness. This is the meaning. And Dukkha is bad space. Dur is the negative side. So when we say dukkha, we say it is a bad space. This is unhappiness. This is suffering. So here we use both su and du. Su in the sense of very much, and du in the sense of difficult. Sudur darsham, very difficult to behold. Is very difficult to see. What is very difficult to see? Such a form, the cosmic form. Only Arjuna saw it. Not everyone can see it. This is the idea. Sudur darsham idam rupam. Idam means this. Rupam means form. This form, which is very difficult to see. Drishtvan asi. That you have seen. You have seen that form, which is very difficult to see. Yan mama, which is my form. You have seen my form, which is very difficult to see. What about the others? He says, Devaha api asya rupasya. Even the gods, Deva api, even the god, asya rupasya, of this form, nityam, always, darshana kankshinaha, they always long to see it, but they cannot. You see, even the gods wanted always to see this form that you have just seen, but they cannot. Krishna tells Arjuna, Arjuna, you are very special. I give you here something, you have a special discount. Nobody else get this deal, you know. I have shown you something only for you. When you go to India, you go to a shop, you say only for you, this is price only for you. So this is already Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, he started this method of marketing. You know, Arjuna, what I'm showing you is special, only you can see it, nobody else. Okay. Very hard indeed it is to see this form of mine, which thou hast seen. Even the gods are ever longing to behold it. Swami Shivananda says, Lord Krishna says to Arjuna, though the gods long to behold the cosmic form, yet they have not seen it as you have done. They can never behold it. Just as the Chataka bird longs for a drop of rain, eagerly turning its eyes towards the clouds, so also do gods yearn to behold the cosmic form, but their wishes have not been gratified even in their dreams. Such is that marvelous vision which thou hast easily seen. Swami Shivananda is giving us the analogy of the Chataka bird. There is a mythological bird whose beak is on the top of its head, and its only food is rainwater. It's only get rainwater, and the beak is sitting on the top of the head, and it is always looking up to the clouds, hoping for rain. It is always thirsty, always eager for rain. So this is an analogy for longing. Some always wishing, always longing, always waiting. Swami Shivananda says, the devas are longing for my darshan, for the vision of the Lord, just as the chataka bird is longing for the raindrop. That's the idea. There is like this, there is another bird. When I was looking, I was searching, there is another mythological bird which is called Chakora. Chakora is another bird, mythological bird, that is always flying. It's never landing on earth. And before laying eggs, it is flying high, 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 so high, and then it lays the egg, and the egg starts to drop. And it is dropping and dropping and dropping. And while it is dropping, it is kind of getting ready. And before it is hitting the ground, the chick is hatching from the shell, from the egg, and it sees the earth coming right in front of it, and in the last moment it is soaring and flying up. That's the Chakora bird, and this is analogy for samsara. You know, we are in the egg, we are falling, we are just, everything is fine. And then when we hatch, we see the earth coming so fast, like, and in the last moment, we soar up and get liberation. That's the idea. So like this, these are the two mythological birds in the Hindu tradition. Swami Shivananda is using this example for the longing of the gods to see the cosmic form. Even then, they don't see it. This is what he says. Now, verse number 53. Naham vedarna tapasa danena na chejyaya shakya evam vido drashtum drishtavana simam yatha. This is actually kind of repetition of something we already said in verse number 48. You know, in verse number 48, we were saying, neither by the study of the Vedas and scriptures, nor by gifts, nor by rituals, nor by severe austerities, can I be seen in this form in the world of men by any other than thyself. And we were explaining about all the idea of karma kanda. If you remember on that class, we were talking about it. Here, Krishna is kind of repeating it a second time, which is interesting. Why to say it again? Why so much emphasis on this? And he says, na aham vedaihi. So, na means not, aham means I, vedaihi, by the Vedas, na tapasa, no by different practices of tapas, of austerities, na danena. What is dana? Dana means gifts, not by gifts. Na cha ijyaya. Ijyaya means by doing yagyas, by doing sacrifices. So again, it is going into the same points that we have seen in verse 48. Shakya. Shakya means possible, able. Shakya evam vidaha, in this way, drashtum, to see, drishtavan asi, that you have seen, whatever you have seen, it's not possible to see by doing all these things. Mam means me, yata, in this way. So he says it is not possible to see me in this way by studying the Vedas, by doing tapas, by giving gifts, or by sacrifices. It's not possible. Okay, and I will not go again into it because we just discussed about it 2 classes ago. Okay. Swami Shivananda says, this cosmic form which thou hast seen so easily cannot be obtained either by the study of the Vedas and the 6 modes of philosophy. I think he refers here to the Shat Darshana. Shat Darshana means these are 6 schools of philosophy that we find. Hola Moini, ¿cómo estás? Yeah. Yes, good to see you, Mohini, after a long time. Anyway, so these are the 6 schools of philosophy. If you study them, that itself will not help you. Nor by the practice of manifold austerities like tapas, nor by charity, nor by sacrifices of various kinds. Arjuna was indeed very fortunate in seeing the cosmic form. How can the Lord be seen? Listen. The heart must be overflowing with true devotion to him. Here we clearly see the warm-up towards chapter 12 of Bhakti, the yoga of devotion. Krishna says, you want to know how to see me? This is the only way to see me. Okay, and this is verse number 54, sorry. Bhaktya tvananyaya shakya amevam vidhorjuna gyatum drashtum cha tatvena praveshtum cha parantapa. Bhaktya means by bhakti. Bhaktya is the instrumental form for the word bhakti. So it means by bhakti, by devotion. Tu means but. It means like after saying how you cannot get it, now I will tell you how you can get it. But you can get it. Bhaktya anyaya. Anyaya means single-minded, not going anywhere. Ananyaya, like anya means another, ananya means no other. There's nothing else in your mind. If only I am there in your mind and nothing else is in your mind, this is bhakti and this will lead you to me. Ananyaya shakyaha, it is possible, aham evam vidaha, me in this particular form. Oh Arjuna, what is possible? What is possible to do in this form with bhakti? He says, Gyatum, Drashtum cha tapvena, Praveshtum cha parantapa. You can do 3 things by bhakti, and we will talk about it in a moment. What are the 3 things? Gyatum. The first thing is to know me. Jnana, to have jnana. Gyatum means to know. And then drashtum. Drashtum means to see. Okay, is the root drish, to see. And also praveshtum. Pravesh means to enter. Enter into me. How? By devotion. By devotion you will know me, you will see me, and you will enter into me. Okay? Now, what is bhakti? What is devotion? You know, even in English, when we use the word devotion, devotion literally means dedication, to dedicate yourself completely to something. If you say, I'm going to devote my entire evening for study, what does it mean? It means that you are going to spend, to dedicate all your time this evening for study. This is the meaning of devotion, complete dedication to something. This is devotion. You know, in the Vivekachudamani, Shankaracharya is giving a very interesting definition for bhakti. It is in verse 32 in the Vivekachudamani. He says, Moksha karanat samagryam bhaktireva giriyasi swaswarupa anusandhanam bhaktiritya vidhiyate. Moksha karana samagryam, among all things conducive to moksha, to liberation. Among all those factors that are going to lead you, to take you to liberation, bhaktihi eva giriyasi. Giriyasi means he's on the top, he's the best. He's taking the first place. What is the first place? Bhakti. Bhaktihi eva giriyasi. Now, what is that bhakti? Swaswarupa anusandhanam bhaktiritya vidhiyate. Bhaktihi itya vidhiyate. Bhakti has been defined thus. How it was defined? Swaswarupa Anusandhanam. The search after your own self. Swaswarupa, your own form. Anusandhanam. The search, searching your true nature. What that has to do with bhakti? It is the dedication. It is the one-heartedness, direction of yourself towards your own self. This is bhakti. This is in Jnana Yoga. In Bhakti Yoga, they define this as intense love to God. But what is the difference? It is, again, it is the full dedication. And this is what it is all about. So he says here, bhaktya to ananyaya, a devotion which is to no other. No other doesn't mean that there are many gods and you have to be devoted to Krishna and not for another god. You know, for those of you who speak Hebrew, there is, in the Bible, there is en od milvado, which means there is no other than him. But the thing is, it's not like there is no other God which is other than him, because that means plurality. It means there is nothing other than him. There is only one. It's the same way. It's not like there are many gods and you need to worship Krishna if you want to see him. And if you want to see Hanuman, you need to worship Hanuman. No. It means that your mind should flow only to that. Wherever your mind is completely dedicated, there it will manifest. You know, a person whose whole mind is going towards money, that person will be rich, will be financially successful, most probably. You know, he's completely tuned into it, right? A person who is doesn't matter, into power, that person will ultimately gain power. If you direct yourself completely towards God, that's devotion. That will manifest in your life, you know. And if you remember Swami Atmananda, when he was talking to us last time, he was talking precisely about that, about just remember always. We're going to see it also soon. Remember, don't let your mind go elsewhere. Remind yourself over and over again. After I heard it from him so many times, but every time I say, yeah, interesting. But after the last time, I kind of started to take it more seriously. I keep forgetting all the time, but I do. I say, I just close my eyes. I think about him, about Swami Atmananda, and I say, this is for you. This is for you, you know, whatever it is. And as Swamiji said, fake it if you need, just fake it. But even if you don't mean it, just say it anyway. You know, and the idea is that you start slowly to really bring this presence into everything. And this is what it is all about. So Krishna says, by tapas, by study, by yagyas, by all this, it's not possible. But by one single-minded devotion to me, it is possible. It is possible to what? Gyatum, drashtum, praveshtum. To know, to see, and to enter into. Okay? It's actually not three different things. Normally, you know, if you look at a house, you know, you see it, and then you know it, and then if you want, you can also enter it. These are three different things. But when we talk about God, it is one thing. To know it is to see it. And to see it is to enter into it, to become one with it. There is no, these are not really three things. Okay? But by single-minded devotion can I, of this form, be known and seen in reality and also entered into, O Arjuna. Now, Swami Shivananda says, devotion is the sole means to the realization of the cosmic form. Ananya Bhakti means single-minded devotion, one-pointed, unbroken devotion. The devotion which does not seek any other object but the Lord alone. In this type of devotion, no object other than the Lord is experienced by any of the senses. Egoism and dualism totally vanishes. So I guess this is the culmination of this practice. The culmination is that everything you see is the Lord. You see, even the ugly, even the hurtful, even the difficult, it's all just the Lord, to be able to see it. That's kind of amazing. Of this form refers to the cosmic form, okay? By single-minded devotion, it is possible not only to know me as declared in the scriptures, but also to realize me. That is to say, to attain liberation. The devotee realizes that the Lord is all this, and he alone is the ultimate reality. When he gets this experience of illumination, he gets merged in him. Okay? There is some bhaktas, like people on the Bhakti Marga, sometimes they criticize Vedantins, because Vedanta is talking about being one with the Lord. And they say, I don't want to become sugar, I want to taste sugar. So I don't want to become the Lord, I want to taste the sweetness of the Lord, which is very sweet saying, but I always say that if you are sugar, it doesn't matter what you want, you are sugar. Like in this sense, if you are one with this absolute reality, whether you see it or not, whether you understand it or not, that's the case. It doesn't matter. So philosophically, at least according to Vedanta, you are that. But of course, in Bhakti, the most beautiful aspect of Bhakti is the sweetness. Sometimes yogis can be a little stern, a little serious, a little like hard, like discipline, sadhana, strength, all this. In Bhakti Yoga is all about sweetness, and that makes it so lovely, so lovely. Of course, ultimately, yoga is integral, like Swami Shivananda used to say. So you need a little bit of everything. And we can see Vedantins like Ramana Maharshi, they had a lot of sweetness also. My teacher, he was a Vedantin. He was not interested in any of only Vedanta philosophy. But how much sweetness was there, I cannot tell you. It was people will fall in love with him in 5 seconds. It was just amazing to see. So this is that. Yeah. And now we are getting to the last verse of chapter 11.
Swamiji?
Yeah.
Real quick, sorry for the interruption, but in the copy of the Gita that we have that at the end of the Swami Shivananda's commentary, the parentheses. In this case, it says CF, and I guess it's referring to chapter 8, verse 22. But what does that CF stand for in this case?
Yeah, I think it refers to, it's like another places where he's talking about similar things. If I understand it correctly, is chapter 8, verse 22 and chapter 10, verse 10. So you can go and find that highest Purusha Arjuna is attainable by unswerving devotion to him alone, within whom all beings dwell and by whom all this is pervaded. You see, so it is where this similar idea was already conveyed earlier. That's the parenthesis, what he is saying, for people who want to understand this. There is also at the end of the Gita, there is kind of a glossary that he is giving you the verses going in alphabetical order. So many times when you remember how the verse starts, but you don't remember exactly, or don't remember where is the location, for me it is very useful. I remember the verse, but I don't remember exactly where it is. So I go to this glossary, I see it goes by the alphabetical order, and then I'm able to find the location of this verse. So Swami Shivananda has made some, and then after that, there is the second index in page 572. It is index of subjects. And this is more connected to what we are doing here. So again, the subjects are according to alphabetical order. So abode, Arjuna, Atma, bondage, Brahman, creator, death, delusion, demonical. Like this, you can see all the verses that are dealing with this subject. So Swami Shivananda really give us a wonderful references to help us study it in a beautiful way. Okay? Okay. Last verse, verse number 55. Mat karma krinmat paramo bhakta sangha varjitaha nirvaira sarva bhuteshu yasa mameti pandava. Mat karma krit, doing karma, doing actions. Mat means to me. Doing actions to me. Mat paramaha. Parama means supreme. So here it means seeing me as the param, seeing me as the supreme. Mad bhaktaha, having devotion to me. Okay, having devotion to me. And also sangha varjitaha. Varjita means giving up. Sangha. What is sangha? Sangha here doesn't mean association. Sangha here means attachment. Okay, Sangha here means attachment. Giving up attachment. Sangha varjitaha. Giving up attachment. Nirvaira sarva bhuteshu. Vaira means being an enemy. Literally, it means being an enemy. It means hatred. Having hatred. And nir means without. Devoid of hatred to whom? Sarva bhuteshu, to all beings. In other words, not having negative feeling to none, to anyone. You see, it is so important. We always deal with, I love God, I want God. How the love of God manifests? By loving all other beings. You know, like Jesus says, if you are going to the temple to make an offering, and you remember on the way that you have a quarrel with another person, leave the offering there, go make peace with that person, and then go to the temple. Because how do you love God? By loving all creatures, by loving everyone. Everyone is a manifestation of God. How difficult it is, no? You know, even these annoying people who really, they are so inconsiderate and they do so difficult. Still, love them. Nirvaira sarva bhuteshu, without hatred, without malice towards any beings. Amazing. Yaha. Yaha means he who. A person who is that. A person who do all actions to me. What is doing all actions to me? This is what Swami Atmananda was telling us. You remember? Yat karoshi yadashnasi yaju hoshi dadasiyat. You remember, that's the verse he was talking about. Here again, Krishna says, Yat karoshi means mat karma krin. Every action dedicated to me. And also seeing me as the supreme. I am the goal. I am your own self. And your own self is the goal. And mad bhakta, complete devotion, complete dedication to me, and without attachment, sangha varjitaha. And no hatred to any living beings. Yeah, such a person who is doing all that, saha, such a person, mam eti, is coming to me. Mam eti. The root e means to go. There are many roots in Sanskrit for the word to go. One of them is gam. Is e. Mam eti is coming to me. He will go to me. Pandava, ho Arjuna. Here also, it is Pandava. When we talk about Pandu, Pandu is the father of Arjuna. His son is called Pandava. So in the same way, we had Vasudeva, and his son Krishna is Vasudeva. So Pandu become Pandava, like this. Okay, so here he's calling him O Pandava, O Arjuna. He who does all actions for me, who looks upon me as the supreme, who is devoted to me, who is free from attachment, who bears enmity towards no creature, he comes to me, O Arjuna. Okay? It is simple and it is so difficult. Right? It is simple. What do you need? Love everyone. Do everything for God's sake. You know, even when you do something stupid, just close your eyes and say, this is also for you, Swamiji. It is also for you. Chalu, take it too. You know, that's my capacity right now. What can I do? Take it. Okay? And then that's it. Ma'am Eti, you will come to me. Here, Swami Shivananda says, this is the essence of the whole teaching of the Gita. This is the essence of the whole teaching of the Gita. He who practices this teaching will attain supreme bliss and immortality. This verse contains the summary of the entire philosophy of the Gita. How beautiful, right? That's all we need. He who performs actions for the sake of the Lord, who consecrates all his actions to him, who serves the Lord with his heart and soul, who regards the Lord as his supreme goal, who lives for him alone, who works for him alone, who sees the Lord in everything, who sees the whole world form and the Lord, and therefore cherishes no feeling of hatred or enmity towards any creature, even when great injury has been done by others to him. He who has no attachment or love to wealth, children, wife, friends, and relatives, and who seeks nothing else but the Lord, realizes him and enters into his being. He becomes one with him. Right? Yeah. This is our goal. Okay. And this is the end of chapter 11. Now is the closing part. Om Tat Sat iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Supanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Vishvarupa Darshana Yogo Nama Ekadashodhyayaha. Thus, in the Upanishads of the glorious Bhagavad Gita, the science of the eternal, the scripture of yoga, the dialogue between Sri Krishna and Arjuna, ends the 11th discourse entitled The Yoga of the Vision of the Cosmic Form. Okay, every chapter ends in this way with the different names. So I will not, our time is up, so I will not go into details. But this is the end of this chapter, and it is also the end of this part. The Bhagavad Gita is divided into 3 parts, and we just finished the second part. Each part consists of 6 chapters, and next week, on Tuesday, we are going to start the last part of the Gita, the last 6 chapters of the Gita, and we will talk about it in the next week. Okay? Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityor Ma Mritam Gamaya Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shri Sadguru Maharaj Ki Jai. Love you very much. See you soon. Hari Om.